Today's episode calls for a very special protein source.
What, venison?
Close.
Why are you looking at me like that?
In the apocalypse, you use what you got.
Bro, is this why you told me not to eat breakfast? The meat gives this Lakeside Stew its weight, richness, depth, something to chew on. The carrots and onions bring out a sweetness that almost feels honest. Mushrooms make it earthy, warm, like the woods outside. A little wine, a little stock, and suddenly the whole camp smells like hope. And no one asks what kind of meat it is, because when you're starving and it tastes this good, you don't ask, you just eat.
You know, every time I always think this venison just gets tastier and tastier. The first step to flavor our kevison is we're gonna go ahead and add in some salt and pepper. We're gonna toss it over the top. And we're gonna add a bunch of pepper to make this flavor, to hide the flavor of the gaminess. And coat everything with pepper and salt. We're gonna go ahead and add in a couple tablespoons of oil right into a hot pan. We're gonna sear these in batches and we're not gonna crowd the pan. It's a little sweet. We got a nice brown. That's the kind of brown we're looking for. These look good on both sides. They don't need to be cooked all the way through because they're going to be going back in a little bit. So we just finished pulling out our second batch. We're going to go ahead and add in our pois. We got carrots, celery, and onions. All right, we're scraping the fond off the bottom. The sweating of the vegetable, the pois is really pulling it up. And we're going to go ahead and add in some mushrooms and garlic. Look at that. We're gonna let those mushrooms and garlic dance in there a little bit, soften those mushrooms up for about 2 or 3 minutes. Now we're gonna go with 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then 3 tablespoons of flour. The juices from all the vegetables and the tomato, and the acidity of the tomato and the flour are gonna make it nice and dry, and it's gonna start browning across the bottom again. All right, color looks right, we're gonna go ahead and deglaze. We got half a cup of a nice wine, one of Bill's favorites. Remove all that gamey flavor from the kevison. Now that it's deglazed, we're gonna go ahead and re-add all of the meat back in. Get that nice sauce all over the the venison. Now that that's all in there, we're gonna go ahead and add in 2.5 cups of beef stock. And we're gonna add 2 bay leaves and 4 sprigs of fresh thyme. And the last thing before we set it in for the long boil is 1 russet potato cubed. We're gonna get all of that well combined, get it all nice and stirred up. We're gonna let this simmer on the stovetop for about an hour. Next, Kevin's gonna make a dessert.
Flour, water, salt, a thread of oil. That's all it takes to make this pull-apart bread. Nothing fancy, just what we've got. Boy, that venison looks good. I wonder where he got it. It's been a real tough day, so it seems I need to make my favorite comfort food. We're making these delicious pull-apart buns, and they're gonna have a nice sweet bechamel sauce that we're gonna pour on top once it's all done. First, we have to make a pull-apart dough, and to do that, we gotta mix 3/4 of a cup of warmed milk to about 105 degrees, 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. We're gonna go ahead and whisk this up. Might be tough with one hand, but we're gonna try our best. Bowl here just to get it well combined, and it will froth up a little bit. And you're gonna let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes. Well, that yeast, we're gonna go ahead and prepare our dry ingredients. Starting with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Then we're gonna give it a quick whisk. All right, we got our KitchenAid set up. We're gonna go ahead and drop it and lock it and start it up. We're gonna go on slow to start, and we're gonna add our yeast and warm milk mixture. And this is a really simple dough, easy to make and delicious. And we're also gonna go in with 4 tablespoons of butter. It's really difficult now that I only have one arm. All right, now we have everything combined. We're gonna go ahead and pull this out, set it aside in our greased bowl, and let it rise for an hour. Our dough rose for about an hour, and Jay was nice enough to help me divide the dough up into a bunch of pieces. And we're gonna go ahead and just roll these up to about a 1-inch ball. This is much easier with 2 arms. All right, now that you got them rolled up, I didn't have any help. I did this all by myself. With my one arm, and then we're gonna make some cinnamon sugar. We have a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. We're gonna dump this cinnamon right on in here, and then we're gonna whisk it up. Gonna take a bundt pan that we threw a bunch of butter in so nothing sticks, and you're gonna take your dough balls, you're gonna drop them in some melted butter right into the cinnamon, and you're gonna just drop it in your bundt pan like that. Get a nice coat of butter on there and get your cinnamon right into the bundt pan. All right, so we got our last ball of dough. We're gonna drop it in. We should give these kind of a gentle squish together so it forms like a decent pull-apart bread. And if you want, you can take this extra cinnamon sugar and just get it all in there so it's delicious. And that is gonna go in the oven at 350 degrees for 25 to 35 minutes or until everything's done. While we wait for that, we're gonna make a really sweet bechamel to pour on top. The first step for your bechamel is to take 2 tablespoons of butter into a saucepan, and you're gonna melt that butter down. You don't want it to brown, you just want it to melt and start to bubble just a little bit before you put your flour in. All right. And once your butter gets to about that color, you got some bubbles in there, you're gonna go ahead and add in 2 tablespoons of flour. And you want this to come to like a sandy consistency with little bubbles and foams. Smell a little nutty here. And once you get there, you're gonna drop your heat to much lower, probably like 2. And then you're gonna go ahead and add in some of your, we did a cup of cream and a cup of half and half, and we warmed it up. And we're gonna go in with about half of that to start. We're gonna whisk it in, let that thicken up a little bit. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and add more of our heavy cream and milk mixture in there. And we're gonna bring that to full temp again. And before we put the rest of our milk in, we're gonna go ahead with some sugar, bourbon, and vanilla. So we're going in with a 1/3 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of fine bourbon. And we're gonna keep whisking this in. It smells delicious. And we brought this up a little bit higher because we want that alcohol to cook off before we go in with the rest of our milk and our vanilla. All right, and we're gonna go in with the rest of our milk. And right before it's finished, we're gonna go ahead and put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. All right, now once you have it thickened up a little bit, you're gonna go ahead and pull it off the heat, and we're gonna plate everything up. Tonight's meal features a slow-cooked stew that's made for cold weather and colder times. The meat gives it substance, the vegetables bring balance, and the broth is deep with thyme, red wine, and patience. It's simple, but every layer counts. This isn't just food, it's warmth you can taste. And for dessert, a pull-apart bread that starts with flour, oil, milk, and sugar, the basics. Rolled in cinnamon, baked till golden, then finished with a sweet bechamel made from butter, flour, and effort. If we have vanilla, even better. It's not fancy, it's comfort. Pulled apart and passed around. Well, this is gonna be a pretty weird meal, won't it?
For some of us.
You're mean, man.
Hey, it was deer.
Yeah, we're gonna survive today too, so.
Kevison.
Yeah, come Kevison. We have some Kevison here. My arm. Whatever you call it, it's gonna be delicious. What is it, Jay?
Well, it's venison. I had fun chasing the deer. And yeah, now I'm gonna dive into some stew.
Yeah, can't wait to make my
I'm so hungry. I can't even think about words right now. Delicious. Man, you gotta get some mushroom in there.
I think I like it better in the soup than on my shoulder.
Our food's typically cold. And this is one of the first times we've had a hot meal at the end of an episode in such a long time. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah, if you know any good links to like some food warmers and you're a chef, let us know. Drop it in the comments.
Yes.
And get out there and subscribe now for this bread. Oh, you're just gonna get a piece and just pull it off. Oh. Wow. Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Absolutely insane.
With the cinnamon sugar and like that bourbon has a really strong flavor in the bechamel. Wow.
The cinnamon sugar bread, typical. The bechamel, top level.
So it's like a super elevated cinnamon bun.
Oh,
Oh my God. I gotta say, Jack, this is one of the best things we've ever made. You all knew it was coming eventually. But
if you're still here and you had a good time and you want to see more delicious foods from your favorite video games, give that subscribe. Ring that bell. And
peace out.
Cheers.
Incredible. My arm hurts to do that.